Hello students, so in today's lecture we are going to start the C++ virtual function and the pure virtual function. So let's start with the virtual function. So first of all, let's see the definition that a C++ virtual function is a member function in the base class that you redefine in a derived class, and it is declared using the virtual keyword. So as the name suggests कि ये virtual का मतलब क्या होता है, काल्पनिक. So we declare a function such that this is the base class और ये हमारा एक derived class है. तो base class में भी अगर हम let's suppose add नाम का एक function बना रहे हैं, and again we are redefining that function, that add function, in the derived class. So what will happen that whenever we will call with the derived function, जो भी हम लोग derived function के हिसाब से कॉल करते हैं जब ऑब्जेक्ट बनाते हैं, तो इन दैट केस द function that is in the base class that is in the derived class, this will get executed. So why this will get executed? Because we have put a keyword, that is the virtual keyword, in front of this base class function. तो जो बेस क्लास का फंक्शन होता है उसके आगे हम लोग वर्चुअल कीवर्ड ऐड करते हैं. सो फॉर दैट रीज़न द फंक्शन इज कॉल्ड फ्रॉम द derived class. So let's see, with the help of an example we will get it cleared. So it is used to tell the compiler to perform dynamic linkage or late binding. So what is this dynamic linkage and late binding? We will see in the subsequent classes, and there is a necessity to use the single pointer to refer to all the objects of the different classes. So we create the pointer to the base class. That means we create a pointer of this one, the base class, and that refer to the derived object. जो हम derived class का object create करते हैं. Let me change the color. अगर एक x इसका object है derived class का, and I have created a ptr, that is a pointer of this base class. तो हम क्या करते हैं, we equate, that is ptr equal to x. that means ये जो ptr base class का है उसमें हम x, that is from the derived class, ये store कर देते हैं. And why we do such that? So we create the pointer to the base class that refers to the derived object. But when base class pointer contains the address of the derived class object, जो यहाँ पे हो रहा है कि base class pointer contains the address of the derived class, so always execute the base class function, that is this function, this one. But the issue can only be resolved by using the virtual function. तो जब हम लोग virtual keyword use करते हैं over here, then what is the output, or what will be the case? In that case, the function that is being stored in the derived class, the derived class का function है, that is always called. So virtual is a keyword preceding the normal declaration of a function, and when the function, this is the important statement, this one is the important one. So when the function is made virtual, C++ determines which function is to be invoked at the runtime based on the type of the object pointed by the base class pointer. This one, this line is a very important one, that is it is based on the type of the object pointed. That means the object of this one derived class, it depends on the object of this derived class, which is pointed by the base class pointer. Over here you can see that this is the base class pointer and it points to this derived class object. तो जो भी derived class object का जो टाइप होगा, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन दैट वन कि कौन सा फंक्शन यूज होगा एट द टाइम ऑफ वर्चुअल कीवर्ड. सो लेट्स सी द लेट बाइंडिंग एंड सम रूल्स ऑफ वर्चुअल फंक्शन. So late binding or dynamic linkage. So in late binding, function call is resolved during runtime. So at the time of runtime, we resolve the function of the late binding, and therefore compiler determines the type of object at runtime and then binds the function call. So we will see in depth about this late binding and early binding in the next couple of lectures. So till now we are only seeing the rules of virtual function. So what are the rules of defining any virtual function? First rule is virtual functions must be a member of some class. Yes, so it must be a member of any of the class, that is the derived class or the base class. The second one is virtual functions cannot be static. तो ये static member function नहीं हो सकता है, and they are accessed through object pointers. So always we have to use this object pointer. They can be a friend of another class. So in this case the friend function concept can also be taken into consideration, क्योंकि we know that the rules of virtual functions say that friend class maybe we can inherit this virtual function. So a virtual function must be defined in the base class even though it is not used. So this one is a important statement that we have to declare this or define this virtual function in the base class. और अगर हम नहीं भी यूज़ कर रहे हैं, so in that case also we have to define it in the base class. The prototypes of a virtual function of the base class and all the derived classes must be identical. So what is this prototype? Prototype is the return type and the parameter type. So both must be identical. That means जो पहले हम लोग derived class में, जो पहले base class में हम लोग define कर रहे हैं, उसमें जितने numbers of parameters and the types of parameters, that must be same as that of the function which we are defining in the derived class. तो दोनों जो class है, दो same name का जो class है, so all the parameter types, return type, number of parameters, all must be identical. So if the two functions with the same name but different parameters, so C++ will consider them as overloaded function. So already we have seen this overloading, function overloading. So function overloading में हो क्या रहा था कि एक function के पास किसी दो function का same name है but the parameters, number of parameters and the types of parameters which is also known as prototype, वो change हो जा रहा था. So इस केस में भी अगर ऐसा होता है तो वो that will be the case of overloaded function. So to resolve that, to not to go to overloading, what we do that we declare or we define both the function in the base class as well as in the derived class with the same prototypes. So the next one is we cannot have a virtual constructor. So just like the virtual function, we cannot have a virtual constructor, but we can have a virtual destructor. तो destructor क्यों यूज़ करते हैं? Because we are using a virtual function. So to destroy all the memory accepted by that function, उस function पे जितने भी memories लगा है, so to destroy that we use virtual destructor. So consider the situation when we don't use the virtual keyword. Let's move on to an example. So here is a example of virtual function. We can see over here that these are the same statements, has include IOStream using namespace. This is the first class, that is the base class. और इस base class में हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? दो function है. First function is print and the second function is show. So in the first function what we are doing, we are implementing a keyword or we are adding a keyword that is virtual. मतलब ये जो print function है उसको हम लोग virtual function बना रहे हैं, ठीक है? And inside the derived class, this is the derived class from here to here. और इस derived class में again we are defining two functions, that is the print and the show. And the message inside that is the general one कि जो पहले में है print base class, show base class, print derived class and show derived class. So इस केस में let's see that in case of this virtual function हम लोग क्या करें, हम लोग base में केवल virtual function यूज़ करें and we are not using in this derived class, है ना? और also we are not using virtual function in this show. तो ये डिफरेंस हम लोग दो फंक्शन इसलिए बनाया सो दैट वी कैन फाइंड आउट और वी कैन कैलकुलेट द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू. कि एक बार हम लोग यूज़ करके देख रहे हैं वर्चुअल फंक्शन एंड एट द सेकेंड टाइम वी आर नॉट यूजिंग द वर्चुअल फंक्शन. सो नाउ द कोड स्टार्ट फ्रॉम इंट मेन. सो द फर्स्ट वन व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, बेस पॉइंटर bptr. दैट मीन्स ऑफ दिस क्लास वी आर क्रिएटिंग अ पॉइंटर दैट इज bptr. बेस पॉइंटर एक क्रिएट कर रहे हैं एंड एट दैट बेस दिस इज द बेस पॉइंटर and this is the object, pointer type object and is the simple object that is d. और ये object किसका, ये derived class का object है. तो in the last slide we have seen that जो base pointer का address होता है, जो derived pointer का address होता है, that is being stored in the base pointer. So this is the key definition of this virtual function. उसके बाद हम लोग क्या करते हैं, we have to call the print function with using the base pointer and show function with using the base pointer. तो प्रिंट में हम लोग क्या देख रहे हैं कि प्रिंट डिराइव्ड क्लास, क्योंकि ये वर्चुअल है तो वर्चुअल नहीं होकर ये डिराइव्ड क्लास का ले रहा है. बट हेयर यहाँ पे शो पे वर्चुअल नहीं यूज़ किए. सो इन दैट केस इट विल शो द फंक्शन ऑफ दिस शो, मतलब कि ये बेस क्लास का ही करेगा. सो द डिफरेंस इज दैट वी विल सी इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो. थैंक यू.